Man, 2 shotgun-focused videos from Fallout in 1 month? Hope your winter jacket is thicker than Rick Cactus's quads, because it would appear that hell just froze over. Recently, Bungie added a brand new shotgun archetype into the game, the Heavy Burst archetype. I wanted to take my time a little bit digging into the details on this bad boy so I could ultimately report back to y'all on just exactly how good I feel this new archetype is overall in the grand scheme of things. Unfortunately, I'm here to tell you that at the moment, not only am I not a fan of the arcane embrace, I sort of don't like the entire heavy burst frame at all. In fact, I'm not really sure what the heavy burst shotgun frame is supposed to be bringing to the table to begin with, other than maybe looking kind of cool. Today, I'm going to tell you exactly why I personally think heavy burst shotties might not be worth your time to farm or use. Let's kick things off by talking about backup DPS real quick. And yeah, when going into most major damage checks in the game, you're probably going to be using your biggest and best damage dealers as your main method of shoving the boss into a locker. However, sometimes you run out of heavy ammo and need something else to finish the job. Or maybe you've got a big thick mini boss and you want to conserve heavy ammo, so you want to blow him away with something else. You get the idea. So, thinking about shotties in terms of backup DPS, why don't we take a look at some quick and dirty numbers. Here, I've written down some damage numbers from shooting our old friend Carl with different kinds of shotguns, one from each subfamily. Now, for those of you out there with special eyes, you might notice that the RPM number I've associated with the Arcane Embrace is way high. The in-game number displays as 62. Well, 2 things there. 1, apparently that in-game display number just flat out isn't correct according to community research. It should be higher. And yeah, 144 RPM is very high, but that number here is manually adjusted because we're looking at damage per bullet as opposed to damage per burst. It just makes it easier to calculate DPS overall. Trust the process though. That adjusted RPM number was taken directly from the legendary Hugh Wugo's insane TTK spreadsheet, and then it was double checked by your good friend and mine, Mossy Max. TLDR, don't worry, I've done my homework here. I'm more confident in these numbers than I am that the Logan Paul Mike Tyson fight was fixed. Anyway, the max amount of DPS you can hit with a heavy burst shotgun like Arcane Embrace definitely isn't bad, but rapid fire frames have them beat pretty noticeably on paper. 74,825 max DPS at base compared to just 54,732. Now, if you're thinking, hey, wouldn't that mean that a rapid fire frame shotgun would have to land every single pellet in the enemy's head to hit that 74,000 number? That's unrealistic because rapid fire frames have pellet spread fire. And you'd be right. But even still, take a look at this column over here. Even if you were using a rapid fire frame shotty to damage a boss and hit every single pellet in the body, the DPS would still outshine a heavy burst shotgun that was landing nothing but headshots. But Fallout, we're not taking unique damage boosting perks into account. Alright, person with the same voice as me, let's go ahead and venture down that road for just a minute. But I'm warning you, you're in for some disappointment. A feeling that you won't get by using Factor, sponsor of today's video. Nailed it! Factor can help you in the kitchen as they've helped me. Factor delivers fresh, never frozen, pre-made meals directly to your doorstep. All meals are dietitian approved and ready to eat in just 2 minutes. Anno and I have been using Factor for years. True story. I still do love to cook, but it's fun knowing that 2 nights out of the week for us, it's no effort dinner time. I just heat the meals up in the oven, again, takes no effort at all, and bam, dinner is ready. Choose from a weekly menu of 35 options, including popular options like Calorie Smart, Keto, Protein Plus, or Vegan and Veggie. Take the stress out of meal planning, cut down trips to the grocery store, and give yourself a break with Factor. Change your order up every week with plans from 4 to 18 meals per week, or pause or reschedule your deliveries anytime. Head on over to factor75.com or click the link below and use code 50Fallout to get 50% off plus free shipping on your first Factor box. That's code 50Fallout at factor75.com to get 50% off plus free shipping on your first box, and again, thank you, Factor. All right, back to unique damage dealing perks on shotguns. One damage boosting perk that heavy burst shotguns are able to take advantage of that basically no spread shotgun can is Precision Instrument. Dealing sustained damage increases precision damage. Translation, the more crits that you land in a row, the bigger the damage buff you get, capping out at plus 25% extra damage. If you were to slap a backup mag weapon mod on your Arcane Embrace, it can now hold 16 shots in the mag, and because one pull of the trigger fires out 2 slug shots, that means we can dish out 8 bursts total. Using a combination of 4th times the charm together with Precision Instrument, you could, theoretically, fire off 30 bullets in a row without needing to reload, aka 15 bursts. provided you never missed a single crit the entire time. More on that later, by the way. Once you get past the first 3 bursts, aka landing the 6 shots needed to get to the maximum damage buff out of Precision Instrument, that leaves us with 12 bursts, aka 24 individual bullets, hitting a target at 25% boosted damage. Not bad. But if we're gonna boost the damage of heavy burst shotties, we gotta do the same for the competition. And unfortunately, many rapid fire frames can get access to Trench Barrel, which gives an ungodly plus 50% damage buff. And even though it only lasts for 3 shots, you can just continuously reproc the perk with little to no effort. And if you're gonna say, hey, Arcane Embrace can run Trench Barrel too. Well, yeah, but 2 things there. 1, that was actually done by mistake, and Bungie's taken that perk off the Arcane Embrace. And 2, if we've already established that rapid fire frames out DPS heavy burst shotties at the base level, if you increase both DPS numbers by the exact same value, aka plus 50%, then rapid fires are still gonna be on top anyway. Oh, by the way, remember earlier when I mentioned Precision Instrument only really paying out if you're super accurate and land all of your crit shots? This is a bit of a nitpick, but I think it's worth mentioning. There will be times when firing your heavy burst shotgun that your first crit shot will cause your enemy to flinch, which very often can lead to you missing the second shot in the burst completely. And again, if you're relying on Precision Instrument to keep your damage up, then missing that second part of the burst is going to completely ruin things for you. That doesn't always happen, but the fact that it can happen is very frustrating, IMO. Another odd but very fun way to use shotguns in PvE as backup DPS is via shotgun swapping. Admittedly, I don't do this a ton, but it is a thing that some people do, so why not mention it here? Shotgun swapping is the hilarious art of swapping back and forth between 2 different special ammo shotties to dish out damage on a big target quickly. Why the fuck would anyone do that, you might be wondering? Excellent question. If you're the designated tractor cannon guy on your fire team and you debuff a big beefy enemy, shotgun swapping allows you to dish out some form of DPS for a good amount of time, rather than just sitting there like a goon waiting for your next debuff application. Even in that hyper-specific scenario though, heavy burst shotties still would fall behind because the name of the game there is speed, and heavy burst shotties take noticeably longer to fire because they have to rattle off 2 bullets per 1 trigger pull, slowing down the whole process. Lightweight shotguns really shine here though, due to their inherent good handling and the fact that they don't take as long to fire as heavy burst shotties. Going back to my crummy little DPS chart here, you might think, well, rapid fires outperform heavy burst shotties in sustained DPS and lightweights outperform them in shotgun swapping, but heavy burst is still ahead of 3 other shotty types on the DPS chart: precision, slug precision, and aggressive. True, but in my opinion, those 3 subfamilies were designed to excel in PvP, which brings us to heavy burst shotties in PvP. Now, I don't think anyone would make the claim that heavy burst shotties were designed to kick ass and take names in PvP, but just to cover all my bases, yeah, I don't like them there either. Generally speaking, I'd much rather use a pellet spread shotty for consistency, but for the sake of argument, let's say I was a slug shotgun lover. The fact that you need to land both shots in the burst on the other guy's head in order to lock up the kill can lead to many uniquely annoying situations. For example, if I get into a shotgun duel with another player and we pull the trigger at the exact same time, even if my first shot in the burst connects in the head, I can still lose that trade. After all, even though we both pulled the trigger at the same time, my heavy burst takes longer to get through the full burst, and I need both shots to connect for the other guy to die. Or I could just straight up land the first shot in the burst but miss the second, which, yeah, skill issue, but not always easy to do on a moving target. Not to mention that if I were just using a regular slug shotty to begin with, the guy would have died outright when I hit him in the head with that first shot. Requiring a second shot just kind of complicates things. Or you could hit an enemy with the first shot in the burst, but they manage to get behind cover before the second shot in the burst, or you get flinched out of the second burst, and you get the idea. In conclusion, yeah, I just don't really like heavy burst shotguns that much right now. I feel like everything they can do, some other shotgun family in the game already does better. That being said, there's always the possibility that Bungie buffs the archetype somehow, so fingers crossed. Let me know down in the comment section how you feel about heavy burst shotties. I'd love to hear from you. Thanks very much for watching. Peace.